Welcome to Awesome Video Game Memories, where we talk about awesome memories about video games. I'm Ryan, and the game we're going to talk about today is Resident Evil 7. Actually, the DLC for Resident Evil 7, Not a Hero and End of Zoe. So guys, remember after you beat Resident Evil 7 and you can play Not a Hero, available spring 2017? Yeah, me neither. And of course we heard that Capcom wasn't exactly satisfied with the quality of Not a Hero, so they were gonna delay it indefinitely. And by indefinitely, they mean until the end of the year. But hey, we got an extra episode announced too, the End of Zoe, so both Not a Hero and End of Zoe will address both of the loose ends that weren't answered in the Resident Evil 7 story. So I actually got to play Not a Hero a couple of days early at the PlayStation Experience 2017, and, well, I gotta get this out of the way. I didn't want to admit it, but yes, this is Chris Redfield. You know, boulder punching, zombie slaying Chris Redfield. Yep, 100% him, man. So, hashtag not my Redfield, can't use it anymore. From what I heard though, Capcom used some kind of new photo imagery technology, trying to make the models look more realistic, and they couldn't exactly put, bulking Hulk Chris into Resident Evil 7 and still make it look realistic, although they did it for Vendetta, the movie. I don't know anything about making video game characters, so I will just shut up now. Okay, so Mr. Shrunken Down, you kind of look like your Resident Evil 1 version, Chris Redfield. Prove to me that you're Chris Redfield. Oh, okay, so you punch molded and their heads pop. You're Chris! You're definitely Chris! Hey, how's it going, buddy? I missed ya. Yep, Chris Redfield's been getting a lot of action. He's been in 3 of the previous Resident Evil main titles, Resident Evil 5, 6, and 7. You know what? Might as well just dedicate Resident Evil 8 to Chris Redfield. Well, but which one? Bulking, hulking Chris Redfield that we know, or current shrunk down, I went on a diet Chris Redfield? So, the story of Not a Hero addresses what happens to Lucas Baker, the crazy psychopath son of the Bakers, and then you play as Chris Redfield, BSAA agent, teaming up with New Umbrella, or Blue Umbrella. So what's Umbrella's role in all of this? Well, in 2007, according to the files, Umbrella rebranded themselves as a PMC, a private military company, and they're trying to make amends for all the horrible shit they did. Well, Umbrella, you kinda killed hundreds of thousands of people, you caused a lot of pain, so you got a lot of making up to do, Umbrella. So Chris Redfield has to track down his men and Lucas Baker, and he has to capture Lucas alive, like that's gonna go well. And then he has to go down in the mines and in the areas that you were not able to enter in the main game as Ethan. So they added this new game mechanic in Not a Hero where Chris has a gas mask and Lucas unloads a whole bunch of gas in certain parts of the game, and you have to make sure that Chris gets out of that area before he chokes on the gas! Oh crap! But of course, after Lucas kind of kills some of your men and he sadistically enjoys every second of it, oh, I can't wait to get my hands on that Lucas Baker! And of course, Chris eventually gets an expansion for his gas mask, he gets night vision goggles, and then Chris has to fight a new breed of molded, which actually is bulletproof! Oh my god! But then later you can get these anti-regeneration bullets that stop these new white molded in their tracks. And then you have to fight these little creepy molded creatures. Oh my god, get off me! Ah! And oh boy, man. Lucas Baker is a fucking psycho, like they say in the game. Like, first he kills your henchmen in the most horrifying ways possible. So he pushes a button and blows your teammate's head off. And then he slices your teammate's head off with a buzzsaw and shit. Like, holy crap! And once you clear this tripwire room, and then you rescue your teammate, you think everything's going well, boom! Lucas pops his head off. Pop goes the weasel. But of course, Lucas actually puts a bomb on Chris's arm, and then Chris has to get that thing off, and Lucas is like, well, it's gonna be 3 dead soldiers soon, son. So, you have to get to the liquid nitrogen, but then Big Mama Molded, the white one, comes after you, and holy shit, man, this battle, you get to fight the little baby Molded, and then you fight Big Mama Molded, so you just gotta unload everything you got. And one thing about this DLC is, You start off with very, very limited ammunition, but the longer you play, you're gonna get a lot more ammunition, but I do recommend conserving it. And then once you beat the big mama molded, and then you have to go through this gauntlet inside this, big rotating thing, which has a whole ton of molded, all the fat molded, all the crawling molded, and every single molded on the freaking planet. And then once Chris escapes the fire, Chris didn't start the fire, Lucas started it and he has to pay. And then you go to a laboratory, of course. What Resident Evil game doesn't end in a laboratory, of course, where Lucas thinks Chris is dead, but then when he sees Chris, he's like, holy shit, man, I was gonna send an email, but I was too busy looking at some porn. Then Lucas tries to attack you, Chris shoots him, and then Lucas is like, oh, you're really fucked now. And then you see Lucas in molded mode. Yep, Lucas transforms just like his father and mother, and then he attacks you. And then in this battle, like, the gas comes out, and even like your gas mask expansion doesn't help you, so you have to get gas from the walls whenever you can. But, he's not super hard. You just gotta hit Lucas in the heart a whole bunch of times with your weapons. But, just unload everything in Lucas. Then Lucas is gone. Chris is like, fuck you. Bam! Blows off Lucas's head. Finally, Lucas is gone. You psycho motherfucker. We've avenged Oliver, who you trapped in your attic, and your parents never found out. But then Lucas has his email going out, and it's either going to renew his porn subscription or going to a buyer because he's going to cut ties with the Connections, who actually created Evelyn. But then Chris decides, you know what? I don't know shit about computers. Bam! Computer's dead. No porn emails have been sent. And that ends Not a Hero, although Chris is still very, very skeptical about working with Umbrella. And now our final DLC, End of Zoe, actually addresses what happened to Zoe Baker after the end of Resident Evil 7. So obviously the canon decision that Ethan made in Resident Evil 7 was to cure his wife Mia, which left Zoe wandering around the swamp until Evelyn calcified her. But then she's found by her uncle Joe Baker, who's Jack's brother, and then he tries to nurse her back to health, but then Joe Baker's shack catches on fire from a mysterious entity, and that's when shit goes down, son. Now, what do you get when you combine Resident Evil, Punch-Out, and the Adventures of Bayou Billy? You get the End of Zoe. So Jack Baker don't need them fancy guns, he's got his fists! Fist of Fury, and he's like, pump, 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 man, molded, her in the face. It's like you're playing Punch-Out in Resident Evil. And how people complained about the lack of monster variety in the main Resident Evil game, and we're like, well, we're in Louisiana, why don't we have molded zombie gators? Well, they fulfilled our wishes, because we got molded zombie gators like we've always wanted. Yay! And they kill you in one hit if you're not careful. So you pretty much have to craft wooden spears, and they kill the alligators in one hit, which is, wow. If it was that easy to kill alligators in real life, man, I'd be an alligator hunter, just like Joe Baker. Yeah, this is like Bayou Billy, man. And so throughout the End of Zoe, you're stalked by this entity called the Swamp Man, and you have no idea who he is, but you can't even run away from him. You have to beat him or else you can't leave the area. So Joe's gotta put up them fists and alright, Swamp Man, back in your face. And of course, as you're traversing through the swamp, Joe eats bugs. Ugh. Well, Joe's been living out in the wilderness all his life, so yeah, bugs taste like chicken. And then you can also find these dolls, which increases Joe's punching power, so he can uppercut, man, uppercut. And I actually do remember when you get to the really, really spooky church, and then you have to fight that giant molded with your fists. I kept losing that battle. So I decided to go on YouTube, and then they kind of recommended that you kind of have to, circle around him. So you punch him, you punch the molded in the back, and then you run around so he doesn't spit on you, which really definitely helped. And then after that, once you get into the church and see Zoe, and then you find out the identity of the Swamp Man, it's Jack Baker! Holy shit, he's back! But now he's a Swamp Man! So basically calcifying him didn't exactly stop him. So Jack became one with the swamp. So Jack is Swamp Thing, or the Toxic Avenger. But he's still Jack fucking Baker. So after Swamp Man Jack Baker traps you in a coffin, you wind up back at the old house. Now the Baker Mansion's been quarantined, and then you actually get a new weapon to deal with your dearly departed brother. I don't care what the name of it is, but it's the Power Glove! Alright, come on Jack, let's dance! So you make your way back into the main hall of the Baker family ranch, well, which is now quarantined, and you have your final showdown with Jack Baker. Hey Jack, remember the time we were playing Punch-Out on the NES, and I was using the Power Glove and I beat Mike Tyson? Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do to you, little brother! And of course, what's awesome about the Power Glove is you get to charge it, and then you get to hit Jack, and then you beat Jack, you rescue Zoe, and Zoe's all cured, and then she gets a call from Ethan, from Chris Redfield, and Ethan, being the awesome guy he is, always keeps his promises, and the End of Zoe finally ties up the loose end of what happened to Zoe at the end of Resident Evil 7. Of course, when you start a new game of End of Zoe, you get the Power Glove in your inventory, and you get to punch the molded like this. Bam! I'm using the Power Glove, bitches! Bam, bam! I'm Joe Baker, motherfucker! Alright, so Not a Hero and the End of Zoe. The last two Resident Evil 7 DLC episodes, were they worth the wait, and do they conclude the story well? Yes, they do. They definitely conclude the story of Resident Evil 7, tying up all the loose ends, and they're more action-based than they are, horror and exploration-based, but, they're a fun expansion to the game, and yes, they end the story very, very well. So you can pretty much get Not a Hero for free if you buy Resident Evil 7, but you gotta pay a little money for the End of Zoe, although I do recommend getting the Resident Evil 7 Complete Edition, which has all the DLC, it has all the banned footage, it has Ethan Must Die, and all that jazz. And you can play Not a Hero and End of Zoe in VR! Which is still freaking frightening, like seeing the alligators right in front of you and they chop your head off. Ah! So that wraps up this episode of awesome video game memories about Resident Evil 7, Not a Hero, and the End of Zoe. And if you have any memories about these DLC episodes, make sure to leave those in the comments below. Take care! Hey guys, Ryan here, and I hope you enjoyed that episode of awesome video game memories. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, especially subscribe, and make sure to click on that notification bell to make sure you know when we release new episodes, because YouTube's, drowning in the swamp and they won't tell you anything. And if you want to see us play games live, especially Resident Evil 7 and many other games, you can follow us on our Twitch channel at twitch.tv/BattleGeekPlus. And you can also subscribe to our channel for awesome perks, and also make sure to check our schedule to make sure you know which games we're playing. This video is sponsored by Elgato Gaming. For the best in video game capture and streaming, you can purchase your own with the affiliate links down below.
Hey, you guys having fun here? Well, help support our efforts at patreon.com/BattleGeekPlus. Go tell Aunt Rhodey. Go tell Aunt Rhodey that